Hello and welcome to CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Marc Johnson with TeamCentral. We are a no-code integration and data management platform. And today I have the pleasure of talking with Paul McCarthy, who's the CEO and founder of Snapfix. Paul, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Mark, and I'm absolutely delighted to be in this conversation with you today.
I am as well. It's really nice to meet you. I'm excited to hear about Snapfix and a lot of the things that your team's working on. So why don't we let's dig in and get started. Tell us a little bit about Snapfix. What are the customers and industries you serve, and just tell us a little bit about the problems that you're solving.
Very good. Well, you can think of Snapfix as the Instagram for the maintenance and management of buildings, where we're changing the way people are addressing the management and maintenance of everything from fire safety checks to security checks to health and safety checks, cleaning, reactive and planned maintenance, everything that goes on in a building, by using a combination of photos, tags, and messaging. So it's very much like a social media type app. We don't use forms. People don't like filling out forms for their taxes or their health insurance or whatever, but people like taking photos, and everybody understands traffic lights.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Tell me like a little bit about the customers that you interact with. How do you find those customers? And just what are the typical types of industries that you're serving and working with?
Yeah, we sought out initially to find a sector that would really prove that Snapfix was a universal solution, and we decided to focus on hospitality.
Okay.
So the hotels, of course, they operate 24/7. They demand high quality, and they have a large audience of multilingual staff. So in many of our hotel customers, for the very first time, their teams could communicate effectively using photos and collaborate effectively using traffic lights. I'll give you a simple example. A member of the housekeeping team could be up in the room, and he or she could see an issue, a leaking tap, for example. They take a photo on Snapfix, take a photo of the front door of the room, and the issue and the location are perfectly communicated using two photos. That instantly comes to the attention of the maintenance and management team, who can prioritize and progress to completion. It's that level of simplicity we're looking for.
Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about your kind of personal story. What inspired you and your team to start the company? What was the beginning of the journey?
I originally built Snapfix to solve my own problem. My own background is over 25 years in enterprise software development and software implementation. A lot of big systems, complex systems, sometimes not very friendly systems to the end users or the customers. And a kind of a light bulb went off about 5 or 6 years ago when I was managing, in addition to being in computer software, I also manage a number of commercial and residential buildings as part of a family business. I was struggling with the number of post-it notes, emails, WhatsApps, people tapping me on the shoulder between tenants and contractors. And I was sitting in the middle with post-its all over my face and just being frustrated. And I looked to the market for the simplest solution, something as simple as WhatsApp for getting things done. I didn't find it, so I just decided there was a global market for this. I asked many customers what were they using, and they weren't using systems. They'd all gone to Excel and WhatsApp. They had abandoned the forms-based complex systems. And I said, there is a huge market, an enormous addressable market for a WhatsApp for getting things done, which is Snapfix.
That's an awesome story. What continue when you think about where you started and just what the team's working on today? I mean, what continues to kind of motivate you guys and inspire you to keep going?
A couple of things motivate us. Very soon, we'll have about 5 billion adults all using smartphones. And what's just incredible about that is every one of those adults can communicate either 3G, 4G, or 5G or via Wi-Fi with anybody else. That for me is very, very powerful. The second thing is the power of the phone. The power of the smartphone is just increasing exponentially. The power of the camera alone, and then the power of the devices, the sensors within the phone is expanding. So I tell everybody now, we take a photo and we capture GPS location. In 5 years' time, we could be taking a photo capturing the temperature the air quality around you, the humidity, a lot more data that can help our customers to make better decision making in their properties.
That makes sense. Are there any other kind of factors or catalysts that have just kind of driven this growth that you guys have, or is it really just kind of some of the advances in hardware and sensor technology?
Well, when I was bootstrapping it, I researched a lot around simplicity. I joke with everybody that I had black hair a few short years ago because simplicity.
Yeah, I had a full head of black hair too. I didn't, but
simplicity is really, really hard. And I studied how Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive really, when they were designing the iPod and the iPhone, they had a dedication to simplicity, and it was all around ruthlessly eliminating everything that wasn't absolutely essential. And that's us. The analogy I give people is, and not to knock Microsoft or anything like that, is Microsoft Word. We all pay for 100% of Microsoft Word. We use 1% of it. And we are the 1% company. We only want to focus on what people will use.
Gotcha. If you think about kind of the journey that you guys have been on, in getting to where you're at now, what are some of the biggest hurdles? Like, what were the hardest things in terms of finding product market fit and really starting to grow your organization?
Great question, Mark. Well, I think the first thing was finding a co-founder. I met many people, met many companies until I met my CTO, Cathal Greeny, and when I started explaining to him what I wanted to do, which was create a real-time, synchronized photos between Android, iOS websites on a global basis, he literally nearly took the sentence from that I was speaking and just carried it on and said, "You mean we're going to do this, 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 and this?" And I was thinking, this is my guy. And I've been extremely fortunate to meet him, and we're very much aligned on what we want to build. And obviously, our future will be a data analytics company, which is why I'm enjoying this type of conversation. To be able to capture as much data as we can from the supercomputer that people are walking around in the palm of their hands. We're transmitting that to a private and secure cloud for our customers, and we want to help to analyze that data to provide more value to our customers. Going back to the point about product market fit, that's always a huge challenge. And when we look at our customers, we look at the must-have use cases. The must-have use cases in hotels, for example, is fire safety. You have 500 guests in a hotel. If anything happens, you want that building to be as fire safety compliant as possible. So we've engineered a very, very simple checklist, which is attached to smart tags where they can put around their buildings. And now when they do up to 3 firewalks a day, the engineer walks around and just touches, I don't really see my phone, touches their phone on the tag, and it's a very efficient means of fire safety. So listening to the customers, getting it in front of the customers as quickly as possible, and listening to them and really listening to them has been very, very important.
That makes sense. Are there other data sources that outside of the sensors on the phone and some of the kind of the IoT stuff that you're talking about there? Are there other data sources that you're pulling in and integrating with across, whatever, hotel or kind of enterprise systems that you might be inside of the customer?
Yeah, of course. Every customer we deal with typically has an established system. So obviously, hotels have reservation systems, other systems have building management systems, and very often they either contain key assets or key information about tenants or key information about assets. Yep. So we don't want to replicate the data in those systems, but our solution, our platform, is designed from day one using APIs, so we can pull in relevant information at any point in time. That's one side of it. The second side of it is Snapfix is a platform, and we want people to use whatever tool they wish as a front end at any point in time. They can use email, they can use WhatsApp, they can use Slack. Yep. To be able to communicate into the Snapfix platform. And we want to be the platform for getting things done irrespective of the front end. So we're building to all of that.
Gotcha. So more of a kind of a platform, and you pick the UI that you're interacting with. That's
Correct.
interesting. So when you think about from the point in which you found your co-founder and you guys started to move, securing seed funding, I'm sure, and kind of scaling the business, like what are the things that have kind of changed? What are the things that um, you either love about where you're at today or miss about where you were when you just started? How's your company changed over the period of time since you
Um,
launched?
it's changed quite a bit. I think I've done an MBA in the last 3 years in
Yeah,
the startup world. Just by living it. I think what I learned very early on was to seek out very very good mentors. So I identified a mentor in the investment world. They speak a different language. They want to hear certain things around metrics and I remember one memorable meeting, and the gentleman said, "I want to see a massive market with an unsolved problem and a differentiated solution." And it really
yep,
just kind of makes you think about, yeah, I've got that, and I've got that. Great, okay,
yep,
but now when I speak to investors today, I use their language.
yep,
So that was great. Having a mentor to guide me along the way on that was very very important, because I was a product guy. I was a property guy and I was a product guy, but I
yep.
wasn't really a investor relationship guy. So meeting a lovely gentleman called Barry Brennan has helped me along that road. Um, Being very, very fair and open and transparent and timely with information with investors was very, very important too. And I think they appreciated that. At every step of the way, we were very honest and open about A, how enormous the opportunity is, but B, we're climbing Mount Everest here. No one's ever done this before. There isn't a book we can pick up in the library to say this is how you roll out a photo-based maintenance platform for the world, because we want to be the maintenance platform for the world with a focus
Yeah,
on simplicity. So there is no book for that.
yeah.
So just being very honest with everybody as to, like, we don't know everything, but we're learning as much as we can, as fast as we can.
That makes sense. Was there a moment as you were either building the product or seeing it in the first customer's hands with kind of that aha moment where you were like, we're really onto something here? Or is it just been something that's happened kind of over a period of time?
There's been a few aha moments. The first one was when I realized that the traffic light was the global symbol for teamwork, and that
Yeah,
so it's in our company logo now, as you can see. Um, we've registered a trademark for that, and everybody gets it. I think key for me was hearing end user feedback, and one of the most emotional piece of feedback I received was actually from a member of a housekeeping team in a hotel where English wasn't her first language, and she was just so enthusiastic and positive that she was able to communicate so efficiently for the
yeah.
for the very first time.
She didn't have
She
to
may
fill
have
out
not
a
had the
form that was going to take her 15 minutes. She just
Yeah,
all
or not
visual.
only that, or she didn't have the confidence to write in English, or even to maybe phone somebody to ask what was going on,
Yeah.
but she was able to communicate very, very efficiently using photos and tags, and it was just, I love that. I just love hearing that people's lives can be improved by the solution that you've built. So yeah, that's one that always stuck in my mind.
Is the product, I want to talk a little bit about customer implementation and just different customer segments. Is the product mainly for larger organizations like a hotel, or does it work for smaller kind of repair people and handy people that go out and do the things that I wish I could do at my house, but I couldn't?
I have a Snapfix for my own house. Don't worry. There's a lot, and there's a lot of things in red. Let me tell you. Yeah, no. So we built it. We built it to be very very scalable, from a one-person operation up to many tens of thousands of users. If you can, if it's not really a product. It's a network. It's more of a
Yep.
network solution, like WhatsApp or Telegram. So any individual person can use it for themselves, just to track what they've got going on, or they can immediately, obviously, just add in more users very, very simply and collaborate with more.
Gotcha.
We always want to offer a kind of an unlimited user license to as many customers as possible, because we want people to get the most benefit from it, and people share with people, and that helps spread the word via the network effect.
Gotcha. When you go into a larger organization, what does a typical implementation look like? How long does it take to get up and running? What are some of the biggest challenges with onboarding new customers?
Yeah, large organizations, our preference at all times is to start from the bottom up rather than from the top down, because the top down, you're very often in months and months and months long conversations in the finance department and the legal department and the IT department. Everyone gets involved. Our preference is to get in very, very simply with a team at the ground level and let them show the benefit to the wider organization. We've got many, many instances where we would have started with, let's say, one hotel in a larger hotel group, and 18 months later, we would have every hotel in that group. But it's around the team members sharing with their colleagues within the group the benefits that they're seeing in Snapfix. We have a 3-step process to getting on board. We typically do a demo, we do a trial, and then we do an onboarding. And it's very, very simple. We can have teams up and running in less than an hour. Some of the bigger implementations where maybe they have an existing asset register or an existing system with some relevant data in it, for example, a property management system in a hotel, may require some integration, and that goes according to a plan then, but that could take weeks or maybe a short number of months. But our typical installation is we get you up and running in 1 hour, and we take it from there. We want people to have an emotional connection to Snapfix, and part of that is how simple it is to get up and running, and then just take it step by step. There's a big fear in the sector, and I have a personal belief that the sector has been poorly served by really, really good and really, really usable software. So there's a little bit of delight when people see, oh, I can do this on day one, and then maybe day 300 we're doing a bit more heavy lifting with them, but on day one it should be a very, very pleasant and easy experience.
That makes sense. Let's talk about product and product roadmap a little bit. How do you and your team make decisions about the product roadmap? How do you kind of balance bigger bets and more strategic things versus things that need to be done operationally today?
Super question. Okay, so there's a few sides to that question. We're very focused on task management at the moment. So the building is built, and we're helping to maintain an already existing building, of course, which is a massive market in itself. I've only got 2 rules in relation to new features coming in. It has to be simple and it has to be universal. So 99% of requests that come our way, we can usually use our groups, our tags, our traffic lights. We can configure it to solve the request. If there's a new request that is simple and universal, and that could be something like voice control. We want people to be able to, they're walking down the street one day and they say, oh, I forgot to remind Snapfix, there's a leak in room 21, and it'll appear in your Snapfix, that kind of thing. Simple and universal. Prior to a building being built and maintained, obviously there's the construction phase, and in the US you use the term punch list. In Europe we call it snagging. So we're good at that section at the moment, but we're not great at it. So we have a design as to how we will be the best punch list system in the world, and we'll be moving. That's kind of a much bigger decision around that side of it. And also recording the as-built progress of a project. So over 6 weeks or 10 weeks, you can be seeing exactly where the wiring was and the plumbing was and the insulation, and just you can know exactly what every part of the fabric of your building is, literally just by taking photos in a sequence, which is a full audit trail of who took it and when and where they were and everything like that. On the other side, then, Mark, is the valuable assets and equipment that are in the building. So that's a big bet at the moment. And by January, we will have our asset management module properly rolled out. And We're taking a different view to everybody else again. So you'll be able to walk around your facility or your building, and you will be able to use your camera to build your asset register as you go. So with everything in Snapfix, we want it to be camera roll simple. And so that's the third module. So we're good at the one in the middle. We know what to do with the one on the left, and we're about to launch the one on the right.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And sounds like a lot of work, but a lot of good work for the team to take on. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs from the experiences that you've had, some of it which you've already shared, but just what are some of the lessons learned or things that you would share with other people that are either trying to do or wanting to do what you're right in the middle of?
You just mentioned the word team there. It's down to team. We have a team of 8 players in Snapfix, and if I look right across, it's a small team. It's less than 30 people, but if I look right across the team, I wouldn't want anybody else in those positions. And it's taken us a little bit of time to get there, but we've got a team now who are all in. They're very good at what they do, and they're open when they have a challenge, and they spread the word when they need some help for something. We've a no blame culture in Snapfix, and if we're not making mistakes, we're not moving fast enough, that kind of thing. But team is, people talk about it. You see it written in articles. It is unbelievably important, because you witness a 50x difference between one person that you've got on your team and somebody else who thankfully you don't have on your team. And it's not 2x or it's not 2x or 3x, it's 50x. It's just when you get the right people, what you can achieve is phenomenal.
Just most of the people that you have on your team, are they geographically close to you in Europe? Are they all over the world? What's your strategy been for assembling the team and working virtually?
So we've been a virtual team from day one. We're a global team from day one, and Colin and I set out to build a virtual team from day one. We have an incredible software development team who are out our team in India. We have some of the sales and marketing is here in Ireland, some is in the US, and I'm here in Dublin in Ireland. We do have a vision that people all over the world, we will soon have somebody in Argentina who will be earning a really, really good living selling Snapfix in Argentina. So their location is immaterial to us, and we're putting the systems and processes in place to have a global software development workforce, as well as global marketing and sales workforce.
Interesting. What are some of the bigger predictions and just the vision that you have for the space you're in? Is it more around IoT and sensors? Is it gig economy stuff? Like what's the the crazy things that you guys are that you could share that you're interested in?
Yeah, we're very open with sharing everything. I gave a talk at a prop tech event in New York last week, and it was around my view of the future of smart buildings, and I kind of summarized it to say that smart people with smartphones equals a smart building. So if you think of us all, we're like bees in a hive. We're walking around these buildings, and we are the eyes and ears of the building. So if you spot something, you can intelligently tell the manager of the building that there's something going on. But in addition to that, the sensors in your phone will be contributing to the well-being of that building. So the analogy I make is, when you walk into a building and there's another 200 or 300 people in the building, you've entered into a virtual group with all of those people, and by proper permissions and settings on your phone, you can always be contributing to the overall benefit of that building, making it a smart building. And it works outside of the building as well. You're walking down the street, walking down an avenue or a road, and you spot an issue, you take a photograph of it. We know that's because of your GPS location, we know it's under the remit of the local council, and that issue will be communicated to them. So I see a big future of people with smartphones equals smart buildings, and there's no rewiring and there's no heavy systems or anything like that. Everything's in the cloud.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, hey, Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting down with you and learning about Snapfix and the the process that you guys have taken to get to where you are at today. So I want to thank you, and it's been really good to meet you. I also want to tell everybody to please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews that we're going to have with other great founders like Paul.
Thank you very much, Mark. I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I really enjoyed your questions, and we're on snapfix.com, and we'd love to talk if anybody is looking for a solution for managing their buildings, infrastructure, or equipment. We'd love to have a chat.